So Victor, I often start my interviews by asking what's happening today, but in this case, I've got to ask what's been happening the last 2 days.
Right. So yeah, basically yesterday we started off and kicked off our Sinergias 2025 Summit here in Monterrey, Nuevo León. And so we were excited. This is our second one that we do here in Monterrey. The first one we did in 2022. And again, we came back. We came back because there's people demanding that we come back and bring some of the same panelists that were back then with us. And so great panelists. We had people from banking. We had people from the university. We had people from the workforce. We had people that our own business community that have experience what the city of Pharr, what the Pharr EDC has assisted them with, and so our keynote speaker today was State Representative Terry Canales, which we came in and really spoke about that State Highway 365, the ITBC, about our roads, what's happening, and the infrastructure and the funding that the city of Pharr, the Mayor Hernandez, and the city of Pharr has brought to do the interchange, to do the bridge, to create all this. So we're investing a lot of money. So is the state of Texas, but the city of Pharr is also investing a lot of money, and this is because we see what's coming. We see that Pharr is blooming. Pharr has never been like it's been now, and the great things that we have coming in the future. But it's all people are interested that they be hearing. Of course, they always have second thoughts, and because they need to hear it. We had our legal that were here. Those attorneys that were here talked about it. How is it that you start so you won't go on your own? And some gave an example. A friend of his started a business with $50,000, gave it to somebody that was some kind of a helper, and could do some paperwork for him, and never opened the business, never got back their $50,000. So this is where they say this is good because we're hearing it from you all, and we have our attorneys, which are both can study law. Both sides of the border, they practice law. I'm sorry, and so this is huge for us, and it's just just every time we had a session that we broke for something a break, you kept hearing and the echoing of what this means to them, and that what they wanted, what they got out of it, and what they're getting out of it. But it was a really, really good summit.
So, for example, a prospective investor, a successful businessman in Mexico, in Monterrey perhaps, wants to move and take their business into the United States. The city of Pharr, the Pharr EDC can help them avoid those bad actors. You have the legal advice in your team, at your global business hub, to help them transition and get their business established in the U.S.
Right, and that's correct. Not only that, but immigration law, of course, and also the immigrations, issue with the workforce development that is tied, and we're lacking that workforce because, especially now with what President Trump has done sort of trying to clean up and trying to, get people back to their countries and so forth. So it's basically hurting a lot of the businesses down here. And so this is another topic that was discussed that's very important. It's very important that they understand that you're going to come with us and we're going to direct you the right way. And your money is going to be worth the money that you have, so you can be able to open up your business. And we're talking again, when we come up to this, we bring summits like this, we talk just not the city of Pharr, but the whole region. So everybody back home benefits, and it benefits because at the end of the day, they have a choice to where they want to go. But they hear so many things about for example, the bridge, and they talked about, we had the bridge representative here, and they talked about the bridge, the new bridge expansion, and so they're hearing good things. And the wait time for them, some families, we had people from the produce business, we had some people from the manufacturing business here that have companies, and they're like, yes, we can't wait because that's going to cut our time in half, especially they have to take their goods out to the East Coast or the West Coast.
So you had a very high-powered list of panelists, but you also had some very important people in the audience. What was the feedback in particular from those folks that are based here in Monterrey with regard to their connection to Pharr? Do they realize how important Pharr is? Is that connection well established now?
One of the things that I heard today was a lot of people, and a couple of panelists said it, right? There's a lot of things happening in Pharr that people don't know. And that's true, because we keep finding out every time we come by, we see new people, and so that's true. So this is why we're doing this. This is why we're having to travel into Mexico. We heard about the nearshoring. We heard that it's coming. It's already here, but there's more to come, right? And so when you hear those things, we're you think about it, we're heading in the right direction. We're doing the right thing here now. And so basically, those investors want their money, and they want to make sure that we got to invest somewhere in Pharr, and then want to make sure that they're being directed and given the right advice and given the right assistance. And the city of Pharr and the Pharr EDC are those entities that can help them out and make sure that they're find their space, find their building, find their business, and make sure that they're successful.
What was the reaction when they learned that Pharr has the fastest internet in the Rio Grande Valley? That's an important factor for business.
Of course, and you heard it from a business owner, right? That was here, and we had several of them that were here because they come in, they understand that they want to make sure what that they hear and see and network with some of these individual investors and because that's what they work on. They want people, they want more business. But that topic came up. Everybody just started. A lot of people here didn't know, but to have fiber optic, to have the broadband, the internet, whatever you call it, to have the fastest and get as much as you want to is nothing compared to what the other providers service can give you, and the price. It was just very eye-opening, and so I'm excited because they didn't know that, and the ones that know that, it's very important to these logistics companies. They have some of these business owners that I mentioned right now. They have other offices in Laredo and Matamoros and Old Laredo, and so in Reynosa. So to them, they have to connect. They have to continue the connectivity with communicating, right? So when they heard about this, they were very excited about that. They just, that's a home run for the city of Pharr and the Pharr EDC being participating with the city of Pharr on the project.
And you mentioned Terry Canales earlier, the keynote speaker today. It was like he obviously hit a home run. He knocked it out of the park. With regard to his speech, like you say, and all the transportation topics he covered, but the level of interest and enthusiasm in him personally, it was like he was a rock star. Everyone wanted to have a photo taken with him and wanted to talk to him. They really felt he was a very important player.
Right, and that I heard right now with the last panelist. They brought him up a couple of times, saying that they were glad that he came over, make the time. They know how busy he is. And matter of fact, he had to fly out right now as soon as he got done with his presentation, and had to go back to another commitment that he had back home. But that's what I heard. When you bring somebody like that level, it makes us feel more comfortable. It makes us feel like look, it's not just the city of Pharr, DDC now. You have a state representative telling us what's going on, telling us that I can assure you that you're all the investment that's coming in, everything, and then the bridge and the EDC and all the developments coming in. Hearing it from somebody else, I think that makes them feel more at ease. And kind of to be able to, make that decision to, I'm going to go ahead and invest in Pharr. I'm going to go ahead and do it, right? Because sometimes you need to hear it from those folks.
So my last question about this summit, I know it's a lot of work for you and your team to put it on, an awful lot of planning, but you're going to do it again?
Well, I've been asked already, and again, I said it earlier, there's some municipalities here that heard and they said, you know what, we want to talk to you, we want you to come by. We have a group of investors that couldn't make it for whatever reasons, and so, yes, it's something that, and sometimes people ask you, okay, so what's your ROI? What's your return of investment? Well, sometimes it takes months, a couple of years, and I'm going to tell you, because in 2022, today, there were a couple of them that they came in 2022, and they were here, and I saw them. Hey, how's it going? And they're like, we're ready to go. We're ready. See, so it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a couple of months. It doesn't happen in a year. But now they came and said, we're ready. We're ready to buy the land. We're ready to bring our business over here to the city of Pharr. And so that was, and I had a couple of those today. And so we're going to meet with them back home and really start looking for that piece of property. I think they needed like 15 acres. The other people, individual, they needed about 25, 30 acres. So see, this is what we're getting out of it. And I think, even if we bring one over here or two people over there, it's worth the trip. It was worth because there's a lot of still people pending. There's a lot of contacts that we follow. And then after that, we continue, we get recommended. People start talking. And and you heard it today, Steve, people really, like this, and then they need more of this to be able to encourage them and for them to make the decision to come and invest with the city of Pharr.
They want that connection with the U.S., don't they?
And you got
to feel wanted.
Exactly. And you got, to me, I've always said, you got to establish, relationships. And then relationships comes partnerships. And with partnerships comes, the development, the investment, right? So this is what's happened. I see it. And that's why I'm a true believer that we need to be out here. We need to go out here. We're one of the few EDCs that come over here and because we see it and it's working out and it's really paying off.
And I think you can give us a solid, concrete example of how those relationships that lead to partnerships have paid off for Pharr. Can you share one or two examples?
Yeah. Well, for example, one of the partnerships that we have, the university with the hub, and they talked about it, and individuals saying, "Hey, we didn't know that." So now we can actually go to the city of Pharr there and go to the hub and get information, and you will in the university, you will provide anything we need as far as data, anything in location, what is it, and so that's a big one there. When you that hub, that's what it's for. Not only for foreign investment, but also for our local investors. So we've already had several organizations use our facility there, and it's great. But that's what it was for. And until when they call me and say, "Hey, we want to use facility, we want because of proximity, because of what you have there." It's great. I mean, we've done the right thing. So that hub is really going to be working, and it's really working right now. So it's a really positive, project here.
And I know, as you know, I always ask you if you've got any big projects on the go, and you often will tell me, "I do, Steve, but I can't reveal it." It's close, but we're not allowed to say what it is. But you've got some big things happening.
Yes. And so again, we already know about Master Brand, 1 million square feet facility, $105 million investment, but talking to Majestic, which I can say now Majestic, right? Back then I couldn't say it, but Majestic, yeah, we have a couple other projects that we're doing. We're doing another, I think it's a 6,000 square feet facility, another 380 square feet facility, and they got more. And we've been working with people. We've been talking to investors. We've been talking to, and so another one is a light manufacturing. We're working with two companies that one is saying they're going to employ 300 or so. The other one's going to employ about 600. And then we have another company that just came in and leased from Trancasa, from Mr. Carlos Canales, 60,000 square feet, and does mold injection manufacturing company that just came in. And so they're already moving in. So that's a lot of great news because that's what we're focusing to now is, the industrial and the manufacturing.
And my last question, as you mentioned Majestic, you were telling me earlier that there's a specific reason why Majestic chose Pharr, and that's because you brought them down when they came into town and you showed them what was happening on the Reynosa side. That was so crucial to clinching the deal.
That's correct. And actually, the chairman of the board from LA was down here that time. We didn't know who he was. We just told some people are coming down, and they're representatives from Majestic. After they left, we found out who the gentleman was, and it was Chairman Borowski. He's the chairman of the board for Majestic, right? And after that, his representatives came down, we started talking, but he is the one that went up there at the Mexican side, and we got permission to go out there and look and see all the infrastructure that was coming in. And so he saw that, and it's always a perception that think, oh, well, we in the U.S. side, we have everything ready. It's the Mexican side. Well, that way, this year it's been the other way around, right? The Mexican side's bridge is already done. We're almost finishing with ours. But when he saw that development and he saw the infrastructure going, I think he decided to go ahead and pull the plug and say, we're coming to Pharr. So that was huge.
Those were all the questions I had, Victor. You're very thorough with your answers. We appreciate that. Is there anything I've missed? Anything else you'd like to add?
No, just that, we still, there's some good things coming. We just brought IKEA back into town, right? So that's huge. But we've been working a couple of restaurants. We've been working some more retail that, I feel that we lack there in Pharr, and hopefully, some other little projects that we feel that are coming. So we'll stay tuned, but hopefully the next one.